Truslow Adams expressed the American dream. Every rank feels that they can achieve a better, richer, happier life in America. The American dream is the widespread aspiration of Americans to live better than their parents did. In common parlance, the term American dream is often a synonym for home ownership. Historically, homes have been seen as status symbols, separating the middle class and the poor. The dream also includes a secure retirement in one's golden years. Banks lent money to Americans in the form of various mortgages and then resold these debts to investors. Because the banks resold the debts, they were not concerned whether the mortgages would default. Banks and Wall Street financial institutions use our money to push the American economy to the brink of disaster. Their risky investments caused the stock market crash, which wiped out retirees' pension funds. So much for a secure retirement in your golden years. Because we, the U.S. government, guaranteed mortgage securities, investors around the world bought them. The two biggest buyers were banks in Japan and the People's Republic of China. Ironically, all those mortgage payments went to Japan and China. Now we, as the taxpayers, are paying Japan and China because the mortgages were secured by the U.S. government. Goldman Sachs is accused of selling those mortgage packages to clients, while at the same time setting themselves up to make a lot of money when the mortgages failed, as they did. Other investment companies bought and sold insurance on these mortgages. When the mortgages defaulted, those who had taken out insurance needed to be paid. Because so many mortgages defaulted, who paid? We did. Financiers' greed at our expense makes me angry. With the economy ruined by Wall Street billionaires, there is less federal and state money for education, police, firemen, parks and recreation, and social services, those things that better our society. When I came to the desert 8 years ago, I did administrative work for a construction company. With the economy ruined by unethical bankers and dishonest financiers, foreclosures exploded and construction imploded. Needless to say, I lost my job. I, for one, am intent on revenge, and you should be too. Even if you don't pay taxes now, you will, and the debt that has been incurred must eventually be paid by you, your children, and your grandchildren. We Americans need to return to the values of our grandparents. Our grandparents saved for a rainy day and lived within their means. We must refuse to be the pawns of banks' high-interest credit cards and risky mortgages and home equity loans. We must live within our means, save aggressively, and borrow conservatively. As Barron's Thomas Donilon states, economic growth comes from savings and investment, not credit card consumption. We Americans need to save regularly and live within our means, in case you wondered what my thesis is. In order for us to take action to save regularly and live within our means, we must first understand how the profit motive of lending institutions is often contrary to our own interests and the interests of our nation. Second, know how to avoid financial pitfalls by learning preventive actions. Third, understand how compound interest must work for us rather than against us. Finally, we will take the first step in a financial plan by committing to completing a budget with our significant other. The budget will include saving and paying down credit card debt. Prior to the recession, banks were pushing a lot of credit. This enabled banks, businesses, and the economy to appear to grow. The banks reduced lending standards. In subprime mortgages, for example, banks didn't require income statements. Banks didn't require down payments. Why would they? It wasn't their money. Banks made attractive credit card offers to people. For those people who were in a mortgage they couldn't really afford, they used their credit cards to make ends meet. Other Americans, as they were getting credit card offers, became overconfident and overextended themselves. The following are financial columnist Jane Bryant Quinn's guidelines for avoiding financial pitfalls. Pay yourself first. Set up a 3 to 6 month emergency fund and pay into a retirement program, anything that's employer sponsored. It's better late than never to start saving. Live within your means. Credit cards, don't use them. People who use cash spend 20% less. If you have to use a credit card, you need to seek the lowest interest rate. If you're carrying a balance, put extra money on your bill each month. Make hay while the sun shines. Get prepared for that rainy day. It won't always be this good. Make a budget. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Make it a team effort with your spouse and your kids. Budget your retail therapy. It's like a diet. If you don't have a little fun money, it's probably not going to work. Avoid taking too much risk. For example, adjusted rate mortgages. People got in trouble with those. They took out a mortgage with a low initial rate. 5 years later, the rate shot up and they couldn't afford it. They lost their home. Don't ignore your finances. It's not, good finances are not going to be a result of luck or ignoring them. If it's overwhelming, take one step at a time. With each step, you'll feel more in control. Now that we've seen how lending institutions aren't always working in our best interests, how to avoid financial pitfalls by taking preventive actions, and how compound interest can work for us rather than against us, we need to take action to spend less and live within our means. The American dream of home ownership. Not a bad guy, he meant well, but he just kept those interest rates low, trying to keep the economy moving. Unfortunately, we overdid it with our debt, ending up in a lot of foreclosures. But we're going to fight this, because we want revenge against these banks. We're going to save in a retirement account, or save for our emergency fund, and we're going to do financial planning. If you save over 10 years with a $10 monthly contribution, in 10 years with only $10 a month, that's $2.50 a week, that's like a Starbucks. At the end of 10 years, you will have almost $2,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, but once you get out of school and you get a job, you can increase that $10 to $20 and $30. Contrarily, if you have a credit card balance of $6,000 and put $100 a month on it, the good news is it'll be paid off in 10 years. The not so good news, you've paid $12,000 for that $6,000 set of furniture that you bought on sale and put on your credit card. A monthly budget includes everything you need to spend, and we're going to do a financial budget at the end. Over here, compound interest. If you contribute $40 a month, if you start at age 20,